Hi, I'm Helen from Heritage Organic Seeds, and today we're going to be sowing our parsley Hal Blanche that we received in our February subscription box. Now, parsley Hal Blanche is not the traditional parsley that we know and love. It is actually a parsley root, so we're growing it for the roots primarily rather than the leaves, although you can still enjoy the leaves if you like. So as always, we have our little insert that details the information about the variety, and then on the back we have our sowing and growing instructions. So we want to bring some compost indoors to warm up before we sow our parsley seeds. That's just to bring the soil to room temperature so that we're not sowing the seeds into freezing cold, damp compost, because all that's going to do is slow down germination and increase the chance of the seeds rotting. We can sow the seeds into small pots or into modules. I'm still going to use these little trays though, to be honest with you. So that's what I'm using, but if you want to use little pots like these 9cm ones, then you can use those too. Or like I say, you can use modules as well. Whatever your vessel of choice is, you use what you prefer. So we're going to fill with compost and then sprinkle a few seeds into each pot or module. In my case, I'm just going to sprinkle a few on the surface of the soil. And then we'll cover it with a thin layer of compost and lightly water. So let's get sowing. So the seeds are quite small, but they're not too fiddly. So I'm going to sprinkle a few on the surface of the soil. And then we're going to cover it with a thin layer of compost. So we're just tucking those in nicely. And then lightly water with a fine spray. And that's just to get some moisture into that soil to help kickstart those seeds into life. Now, parsley is notoriously difficult to germinate. It can take up to about 6 weeks, so do not fret if you don't see any signs of life for a little while. It is completely normal. Folklore even says that parsley needs to travel to hell 9 times and back before it will germinate, so that is how much patience you need. We're going to keep our seeds at around about 13 to 15 degrees Celsius and ensure that the soil does not dry out whilst the seeds are germinating. So because it's so cold outside, I'm going to start my seeds off indoors. They won't be on a heated propagator or anything, but just indoors where they're at room temperature and not too cold. Because they're indoors, we just want to make sure that the soil doesn't dry out too quickly, which can happen very, very quickly with central heating systems. So once our seeds start to germinate, we're going to grow them on for a little bit to develop their root systems. And when they're large enough for us to safely handle, we're going to carefully prick those out and transplant into individual pots. And then once you've transplanted them, just continue to grow them on a little bit longer, and then they'll be ready to go in the ground from around about April time. As always, we do recommend hardening off your seedlings before you plant them into their final growing positions, and that just helps them to get used to being outside in the elements. When you plant your seedlings into the ground, you want to be planting them out about 20 to 25 centimetres apart. Over the summer, you want to make sure the area is kept well weeded and well watered. It is the summer months where these plants will be developing their tap roots, and it is the tap roots, remember, that we want to harvest. So do keep those plants well watered over the summer months. And then all being well, from around late summer, you'll be able to start lifting your parsley roots and enjoying them. So you want to harvest them when the root is about 12 to 15 centimetres long. Obviously, you're going to have to lift 1 or 2 to check, but anywhere from late summer into early winter, you can start to enjoy this delicious forgotten vegetable. I do hope you enjoy sowing and growing parsley root this year. I think it'd be great to revive this forgotten vegetable here in the UK. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you with your growing journey. Happy sowing!